Gary, a bittersweet news for us really at the club. Obviously, you've been informed that you need to retire through injury, but the positive is that we know you're staying on with us in a different role. We'll get to that in a moment, but can you firstly sort of talk me through the decision to retire and sort of how you got there?
It's been obviously, unfortunately, like the injury I sustained early on in the season was something that I think was more severe than what we thought originally. I've tried and done everything I could possibly do with the physio staff here to get myself back to that level. But unfortunately, I just my ankle just won't take it anymore. So obviously we've made the decision with the surgeon. We took his advice that unfortunately, for me to make it back to the level that I would need to compete at professional football, I just won't be able to make that grade anymore, unfortunately. So for my afterlife as well, I think it's important that football doesn't hinder my life going on from here as well. I never wanted it to do that. It was never meant to do that. So getting told the news that if I carried on, potentially something else bad could happen with it, and it could affect the rest of my life. I think it's only right that I make the decision that I'm nearly 36 years old. I'm happy with my career. I've loved every minute of it, but unfortunately, everyone knows it comes to an end eventually.
Can you explain to us kind of the steps? Because obviously that happened back in September against Norwich, didn't it? At the time, were you aware? It was a bit of a freak occurrence, really, wasn't it? But at the time, were you aware of the significance? Could you have then known it was bad?
I knew it was bad. I think as soon as I did it, I had a feeling that, I'll be honest, the main thing when it first happened was I looked at my foot because it felt like it was facing the other way. So it's the most severe injury I've suffered in my career, and something, to be honest, it wasn't anything from the lads' fault or anything that I did wrong. It just is one of those things. I've played a lot of games and no one's ever really stood on my heel and turned my ankle out like that, so it just is what it is, unfortunately. But I knew then that it was serious, obviously, because of how bad it was. Obviously getting sent straight to the hospital and having all the breaks ruled out of it was a bit of a boost, but then obviously only to find out that the tendon side of it and the rupturing of the ligaments and that is obviously a lot worse than what the break would have been, unfortunately. So it would have been easier if I had broke it, but I knew it was bad. I think always thought I'd get back from it, but I think as time went on, instead of I progressed to a certain level, and then I started going on a real downward spiral. The more I had to push to be able to make the level back, so that tells me all I needed to know.
So you had surgery and you started rehab, didn't you? Because we were kind of thinking, and you were obviously thinking as well, that you'd be back available sort of towards the end of the season, I guess.
Yeah.
And, but then it was kind of rehab and trying to get back on the pitch where it became clear to you that you maybe couldn't recover to a full professional level again.
Yeah, I think it was clear to me. Like, I think in training, I'm always have been someone that gives everything I have in training, and I've always prided myself on that. And I could not get to the level of the lads, like running around, and that's frustrating for myself and that. But one that I have to look at. I know it wasn't an age thing. It was just purely my ankle just wouldn't allow it. Like it was painful every day, and I said I would train, and then obviously with the rehab we were doing, because we had to push it sort of to the level we have to get into this sport. It just become to the point of that I could hardly walk down the stairs in the morning after I'd done it. So that doesn't obviously bode well if I want to get back playing on the pitch with the lads.
So presumably the lads, your teammates and the management team would have been aware of all of this unfolding. What conversations did you have with them, and how were they with you throughout the process?
They were amazing. Everyone from the playing staff, everyone throughout the club have been amazing with me. Obviously the playing staff have known longer than anyone else obviously about this. It's been saying that I've tried everything we've had. I've said through having the operation, to have it reconstructed, to have 4 jabs, I've had it in the end to try and calm it down, and just nothing's worked with it. So they've been amazing with me. I think they were just concerned, which is a nice way, nice for me, that everyone sort of took their time to sort of really try and see and understand what I was going through with it, and they could see that I pushed myself as far as I could, and I am that sort of lad that would do that. So they've been amazing with me. I think everyone obviously, like I was hoping it would be different, but unfortunately it's not, and I can't thank them enough for how they've been with me.
And how are you kind of coping with it? There's a lot of discussion about how players handle that transition to retirement? You've obviously had a little bit of time in the last few months to get your head around it, but for us, you're on 298 games, as we all know. You're not going to get to 300. That must hurt. You never got the opportunity to see the fans again after the promotion. How are you handling it all on the whole?
I think it's one of them. I think I have to take everything with a pinch of salt. I've loved it. I had an amazing career and I had a long career. I said I'm 36 in July in a couple of months' time, so I haven't left anything out there. I tried to achieve everything I could achieve. Played for Plymouth for obviously the majority of my career, which is the biggest thing for me. But yeah, it's hard. Like I said, when someone tells you you can't do your dream job anymore as a kid, like that never wavered. I feel like that now as I did as a kid, like with football, and I am gutted and it does hurt. But I understand that obviously at this age it's important that I make the right decision, and this is the only decision I can make judged on how I feel. I wouldn't have wanted to come back into the team not being able to do my job. That's not me, and I wouldn't want it to end like that. In an ideal world, like anyone, I'd have loved us to have got promoted and played my last game in front of everyone in the stand. That's in an ideal world. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work like that. Now, this isn't by any stretch the way I'd want to do it, especially with no fans in the ground and can't say goodbye to them effectively for what they've done for me. But it's one that I have to get on with. I have to look forward, and being given the opportunity to work in the club after does that for me. I had one training session, I think, where I knew that it was finished. I took that hard. I took that really hard. I took that hard.
I mean, it must be phenomenally difficult to talk about, but let's talk about positives for a moment then, because you've had plenty while you were here. You know, a lad who came up through the academy, played at a very high level with us. You've had 2 promotions, you've played for us at Wembley, you've captained us. Have you got one particular moment, one particular achievement that you're proudest of at Argyle?
I'd probably say for I've had some great highs like this football club, but for me it'd have to be the promotion. Probably the first one out of these 2, just purely because of what it is in terms of how it's dealt with. When we played Newport on that Monday, the whistle blows and everyone comes running on the pitch, and it's just this amazing feeling. Like I've never felt anything like that, and that's the bit where you look at football and you're like, all the sacrifices and everything you have to give up to get to that point, it just makes everything worth it. That would be the biggest standout moment for me. Obviously making my debut was a massive thing, but the promotion definitely is my favourite.
You experienced kind of a lot of highs and lows at the club in your 2 spells. You kind of you left just before the club kind of reached its lowest ebb, but you came back and helped rebuild it again. In that kind of, we're coming up for 2 decades really, aren't we, since you broke in? Sorry. What sort of changed? How's the club changed over that period? You've seen most of it. Yeah,
I've seen most of it. I was lucky enough to obviously sign in the youth team, and the first team got promoted 2 out of 3 years of my 3 years in the youth team, so I only really saw success at the start. And it was amazing. Obviously it made it a bit harder for me to make the jump. And I had great years in my first spell. Like we played in the Champ for obviously that amount of years, and absolutely loved it. And then with what happened with the football club, unfortunately, I think everyone's well aware with that, I made the decision to go. But it was something that I didn't take lightly. I didn't overly want to do that, but I just felt like I needed to do that at that time. But then it was always, as soon as I'd left, I just always wanted to be given the opportunity to come back, and obviously seeing how it went for a couple of years after that, it was always massively on my mind that I would love to get back and try and help the club go back to where they want to be. And it was great when I got given the opportunity. Obviously it was an absolute no-brainer for me, and one that I'll never regret, and I appreciate all the people that helped me get me back to the football club.
I wasn't working here at the time you came back, but as I understand it, you pretty much walked in and asked to be re-signed. Is that the truth?
It's similar to that, yeah. Obviously at the time Watsy was the assistant, and that I didn't know Derek Adams.
Yeah.
I'd never come across Derek Adams, but I'd got to a point in my career, I was in London at the time, and I just felt that I just wanted to be back in Plymouth.
Yeah.
I'd felt that for years before that, but I think it got to a point where it was really serious that I wanted to do that. I know, like anyone does in football, if you sit there and wait for things to happen, they never seem to happen. So I felt like probably for the first time in my career, I'd be really proactive with trying to do it. It was something that I believed hugely that I wanted to do for my career. So yeah, I had the conversation with Watsy and was willing to sign for whatever.
And the rest is history. So let's look at the future now then. So obviously you're starting a new role at the club. I don't really even know what that is. Can you tell us how it came about and what you're going to be doing here?
Yeah, it was to do with like obviously the gaffer has been like a massive driving force with that, and then with Andrew Parkinson as well, and obviously Neil Juicenick. They come to me and spoke to me about it and see sort of where my head was lying with it. I'd always said that for me it would have been perfect if I could have rolled from playing football at a football club to working for the football club in some aspect. I feel like I have a lot to offer this football club, having been through every run of it, for the young lads, in any environment really in Plymouth. So yeah, it was that come about. It was something that I was really interested in, and I said it's been great speaking about that, and that's what makes having to retire in the way I have like easier, because it now gives me a new focus and new drive, and I get to work for the club I've supported and played for pretty much my whole career. So I'm excited about it. I said I think I'll go into an ambassador role as such for the club. So that'll be really interesting. It keeps me around the boys and around the fans and everything, which is one of the buzzes that you love doing it for. And then also I'm going to run inside with working with the community, which is probably the part where I think anyone who knows me will always say that like that's the bit that I've always said that I enjoyed doing. I like going out to communities, I like being involved in them sort of things, and I always felt that would be the sort of ideal job for me, to be involved in that, knowing what it means to people in the community about the football club, and it means the same to me. So it's that sort of marries into one, and something that I'm really, really excited about. And then obviously the other one would be to start coaching in the academy, which is, going back to what I just said, is something that I was at their stage, and I've been in their shoes, and I know how it feels, and I know how hard it is to get through. So that's something that I feel like my experience could really help people with, and something I really want to do for them.
Do you think it will kind of make that transition out of playing easier, because you're still coming into the place of work? But I guess the flip side of that is you're there, but you're not training every day, so it could be harder in some respects. What's your view on that transition?
Try not to think about it too much, I think, if I'm honest. Yeah. But it's something that I have to meet head on, really. That if I can help young kids achieve their dream, if in that aspect of it, in the coaching side of it, then I had great people that I still think of to this day that helped me when I was that age, and I still look at them as if I didn't meet them at that time or they didn't help me, I would have never had the career I had. So if I could do that for other people, that would be more than enough for me to be happy.
The biggest kind of the worst thing about the timing, I guess, is that you haven't had that goodbye to the fans on the pitch, and we've not obviously seen them here for over a year now. So I guess I'll just give you the opportunity now to send a message to the fans and talk to them on your retirement.
Now they've been, I said that it's the reason I wanted to sign back at the football club. We're so well supported at this football club. It's such a great place to be. Fans have always been amazing with me, on and off the pitch. Obviously give you a kick up when you need it, and pat you on the back when you need it. So I could never ask for more from them. They've been amazing, and I'll miss having that with them. I now feel like obviously I can help them in another role now, which is important for me. But I could stand here all day, and I said that they've just been amazing with me, and I couldn't have done it all without them. The good, the bad, and everything. I said it drives you on as a player, and I couldn't wait to get back here and play in front of them again. And unfortunately, I don't get a chance to send them off, but it's not about me anymore. Like I said, it's the football club will go forward. I'll go into a role, and life will go on. I said it's important that does that.
Thanks for chatting to us about your career. Obviously, it must be very difficult it must be a confronting experience actually having the conversation now and thinking about it. So let's finish with a bit of fun. Let's do a Gary Sawyer career quiz. What's your knowledge like of your own career? Do you remember most of it?
Yeah, I'd say it's all right. I think it's something that where I think people always say you'll remember after. So I don't look back on it too much, like I said, because obviously at this stage I was still playing, so obviously you still feel like you've got stuff to do, but I don't know, I should be right.
Right, so we're only going to do your Argyle career, obviously. We'll forget about the rest. So
That's all that matters, isn't
it? All matters to me. First game, when was it?
Colchester, that was my debut,
Yeah.
away at Colchester.
August 2006, what was the score?
2006, Jesus. What was the score? God, Jesus. The 2-1?
No. We won.
1-0 then?
1-0.
1-0.
Who scored? You came on for them.
I come on. God, who did I come on for? Right, Hodgie, was it?
No. Do you need help?
Yeah.
It's not a good start, this is it. Luke Summerfield.
Come on for Sums, did I?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Sums played before me, did he?
Seems like it. Alright, good.
Come on for, oh, Jesus, yeah.
First goal. Okay.
First goal was Colchester.
Colchester again at home.
Yeah, that was at home.
What was the score?
Score was, I'm going to go 2-1 with that then.
Better than that. Better than that.
3-1.
Better than that.
4-1.
4-1.
4-1.
Can you name your team?
Ain't started well, have I?
Okay, not great. Can you name your teammates that day? I've got a team written down here.
You got the team all there. Well, I know Paul Connolly put the ball in for me.
Yeah.
The one I scored.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. And then it must have been with people like Dave Norris, Paul Watton,
I'm going Norris Diamonds.
Asney at Joffrey.
No.
No?
Luke McCormick.
Luke in goal.
Paul Connolly.
Paul Cons.
Centre back. You played left back by looks of things.
I would have played left, but I definitely played left back in that because Cons crossed the ball and I finished it at the back stick, which was we both had nosebleeds, I think. God, the actual team I'd have played with. Dunby played? Matty Dunby?
No. He played in your debut. So did Algeoffrey. So did Norris. But not in this game. This was 2008, March 2008.
2008.
I'm going to give you help.
Yeah.
Timar,
big man.
Sipe came on for him.
Oh, yeah.
Anderson was the other centre back.
Anderson was the other centre back.
Midfield, Gary Teal.
Yeah.
And Chris Clark came on for him. Jimmy Abdu, Lillian Nellis.
Jimmy Abdu. Oh, Lil. I should have got Lil.
Peter
I
Halmozy.
should have got Lil. Halmozy in front of me, yeah.
Steve McLean. Rory Fallon came on for him. And Jermaine Easter.
Jammer as well.
Remember much about that team?
Yeah.
You've done terribly there. So
I've done terribly with that, yeah, to be fair. I've done terribly with that. I'd question that.
Yeah,
to think
so
back to the team. I knew I scored. That was enough.
Last goal. You're going to be only about
Last goal was MK Duns.
A lot more recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot
MK
more
Duns.
recent.
Boxing
Good
Day
finish,
2007.
Yeah,
Was
good finish,
right?
yeah.
Team that day.
That would have been, like Luke would have been in goal with that,
No.
was he?
Because we had like
Remy?
8 goalies that season. It wasn't Remy. There's another one.
Remy. He went in goal for that. I know, that was the year where we had madness in goal.
Like 8 goalies, 9 goalies.
Yeah.
It was another loanee came in between. I think Remy came in twice and he came in the middle. From Derby.
Oh, was it?
It's going to embarrass you if you don't get his name, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to do it for you. Shall I help you?
I can't remember his name. It's Kel or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's Kel, yeah.
Calabrese.
Yeah, Calabrese, yeah.
Right back.
Right back would have been probably Kelvin, not Kelvin Miller.
No.
Kelvin Miller. Ozzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ozzy. Centre halves with Sonny
And
and Viner there, no.
it
Zach.
was. No. Ryan Edwards.
Edwards, yeah.
He played left back. Midfield?
Carey would have played in that.
Yeah.
Foxy playing that?
Yeah.
Foxy playing that. Rubes?
Yeah, up front. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kerry and Ruben wide of striker.
Yeah. Trying to think back to the picture when I see people pouring the air and that, like, I'm sure.
The other one.
Nessie?
No.
Nessie not play? No?
Jan played there.
Oh, Jan played.
And then Toombs.
Oh, Toombs as well.
And then who was up front?
That was a year.
This isn't going well, is it?
No, yeah. Tough questions.
I thought you were going to. They did go a bit easier, to be fair, but I thought you were going to nail this.
Tough question. So G's up top, well in behind him.
G and Ruben either side.
Tails?
Yeah, Tails. Okay. Got the end. Right. Who's played with
Sar's
most?
not playing that.
Doesn't look like it.
No, Sar's didn't play that, no.
And then Jake and Joel Grant came off the bench.
Oh, that's what it is.
Who did you play with most in your entire career over both spells?
Gotta be like Luke. Has
It's
to be
not
Luke.
Luke. He's close, but he's not the first. He's not
It's
the
not
most.
Luke.
Not Luke.
Carey?
Yeah, Graham Carey.
It is
How many
Carey.
times?
Got to be 100.
More than 100.
More than 100?
Yeah.
120?
Bit
30?
more. I think Luke is at like 121, something like that.
So he must be in the 130s.
143, Graham Carey.
143 means it.
Yeah.
Well, didn't it?
It's good,
Yeah. That's good. That's yeah.
How
I've
many-
always said Luke, obviously, because obviously I've had the most time
Yeah.
with Luke. But
I thought Luke.
I played a lot of games with G. Yeah, obviously.
How many managers have you had? If you include temporary as well, how many managers have you had at Argyle? Who was your first manager? Who gave you your debut? Do you know that one?
Holloway gave me my debut.
Yeah.
Holloway gave me my debut. Depends if you count the ones that I was on loan for. It was about 2 or 3 of them before that as well.
Let's just count the ones you played for. So Holloway was the first.
Holloway, Sturrock, Mariner,
Yeah.
Derek Adams,
Yeah.
Lowe.
Yeah. So you got 2 temporary ones as well.
2 temporaries.
Can take a charge.
Kevin Summerfield, did he take one?
No,
Did he
so
take
what,
one?
the first one was between Holloway and Sturrock. They managed one
Between
game.
Holloway and Sturrock, they only managed one game.
Yeah, I think you came off the bench for it.
They managed one game. Was it a player that went in? Weren't a player that went in?
No. I think he was assistant to Holloway at the time.
Tim Breaker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Right,
Yeah.
one more. You got to get this one. He's still here.
Nance? Yeah.
Yes. No, it's good. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
That's hard, the temporary one, like.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm doing alright now.
that was good. That was
Yeah, I'm
7
actually
out of
doing
7,
alright now,
I'll
yeah.
take that. Played alongside. How many Argyle players have you played alongside competitively in your career? So you had to make an appearance with them in a first team game. It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah.
It would be obviously a lot. Like, you think how many years I've been here.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be able to count them. I don't know why I'm looking like I'm trying to count.
Just
150?
that's really close. A bit more.
160? Got
So,
me 10?
yeah, really close. You're in it's 166.
166?
166 players. Thanks to Greens on Screen as well for these stats, or I'd have no chance.
166?
That's impressive, isn't it?
Gee, that's a lot, isn't it?
You
God,
must-
yeah.
You played like 10% or something of the entire.
That makes me feel worse. I
players
think it makes me
history,
feel
right.
old. Though,
Last
doesn't it?
one. It's a nice positive one. You have scored for Argyle in your career against MK Dons, Cardiff, Barnsley, Blackpool, Colchester United, and one other team. Who is it?
And one other. I ain't scored many, so I should be alright with this, but.
First spell. First spell.
First spell.
That's right. That's right. First.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say Blackpool?
Say Blackpool.
Blackpool, Cardiff,
Blackpool,
Colchester,
Colchester,
Barnsley,
MK Dons.
MK
and
Dons.
One more.
Who's in my first spell?
Yeah. I don't remember this one. Do you remember this one?
Can't have been a good one then.
Well, I might not have been there. I don't know.
The mad bit is I ain't scored that many. You think I'd remember that? Because there really ain't been that many. Who's that against?
Do you know the score? I don't know the score. What was the score again?
That'd be unbelievable knowledge if you knew that.
I mean, he's looked it up, but he's forgotten.
Yeah, I know.
I should look it up.
Team based in London.
Yeah, London team.
Team based in London.
No. Gonna have to help you in a minute. Right?
Charlton's in.
I'm trying to look it up. It's not Charlton.
Charlton, Watford.
No.
I'd know if I'd scored against him. I know I ain't.
Got a picture of it.
Picture me scoring. Jesus.
It's not far from Charlton geographically.
Weren't Palace.
Oh, we lost. We lost 3-1.
Weren't Palace.
It was Palace. Yeah.
It's Palace.
Yeah. Do you not remember?
I should remember that, shouldn't I?
You don't remember the goal?
Yeah. Must have been a good one. I wasn't known for scoring the best of goals, to be fair.
3-1.
Blackpool's the one I'd remember the most.
I was there for that. That's
Yeah,
funny.
Blackpool's the one. Oh, that would have been my first answer, Blackpool.
Is that your favourite goal for us?
Yeah, for what it was, I think, yeah, Blackpool.
Important goal, isn't it?
Yeah, important goal at the time, like, and it was obviously late on in the game. Obviously, the first one probably got to be one most important, like, because it's nice to get off the mark. But Blackpool for what it was, I think, was at that time where we were. That was a big goal, I think, that one. It was a nice little element.
I wasn't keeping score, but you did terribly, didn't
Did
you?
I?
I think so.
I did write something
We'll
to
look
that.
back. It's quite hard on naming the teams though when you've played with 166 players. Isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you them.
That's not really fair, is it?
166. It's a lot more than what you think, isn't it? It's mad, isn't it? Yeah.
Crazy.
166.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for chatting to us. We wish you really well with your next role, and thanks for being a club legend.
I appreciate everything everyone's ever done for me, from the top to the bottom of this football club. Fans, everyone, my family. I couldn't thank anyone enough for what they've done for me. It's been an amazing ride, and life goes on. And I said, like, I'll be here to support from behind the scenes now, which will be nice and a change for me. But I do honestly appreciate everything anyone's ever done for me.